Folks are seeing pictures and just all these millions of dollars they're going to create. If he cuts that property tax, there's going to be nothing. We're going to go through all this mess for nothing. The only ones that's going to benefit from it is a handful of people. The rest of the residents will blow in or whatever they got to do. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Troy Stevenson. I'm 6131 Secluded Court in Sylvania, Ohio. I am your neighbor about 500 feet just south of Riga Township. I've heard a lot following this about responsible wind development. I've been to several meetings at Riga Township, and I will kind of express my opinion supported by Sylvania Township, the city of Sylvania, and Sylvania schools, asking for a 2-mile setback from the state line. From the standpoint of the densely populated area. If you take the southeast corner of Riga Township that comes up against Sylvania, there's about 600 houses within about a half a mile at that point. We've asked for it, and I noticed in this ordinance that wasn't even addressed as an issue that just doesn't exist. And my understanding is that will also be reduced. So I'm here asking again for that 2-mile setback from the state line for this. I think we've been good neighbors, a lot of Sylvania, especially in western Sylvania, do support a lot of Blissfield and Riga Township. Gus Brother Pumpkin Farms we support pretty well. We take our Cub Scouts there, we take a lot of elementary schools there. So I don't think it's an unfair request to ask this 2-mile setback from the state line, especially from the highly densely populated area of Sylvania. So I would like to ask you, is there any reason why the 2-mile setback was not included in the ordinance, or why it won't be added back in?
Great.
Should there be any recommendations to put that back in?
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Ted Mason, 10446 Pike Road, Riga Township. I'm 4th generation farmer, family farm. Been in Riga Township my whole life, and I'm a Great Lakes Wind Board member. I support wind energy in this project because it's a clean, renewable resource to help supply our increasing demand for more energy production. I realize that wind energy is not going to be to replace existing energy sources such as nuclear coal, but it is an important part of the total portfolio of energy. I've been to turbine projects in the town and have come away with the same opinion shared by others who have visited those turbines. The noise that is produced by them is not unbearable. The roads around them are in good repair, and there's no long-term damage during the construction phase of the project. I know there's some pictures here of the current project. If you've been around any construction site at times, it can be torn up. But it's what does it look like when it's done? I've been to the thumb. I've seen the result after it's built. There's no long-term effects that I saw when I was there. This project will also provide a stable service of revenue to those farmers and residents that have the opportunity and choose to participate. As farmers, we're always looking at ways to make our farmers more efficient and productive so that we can make our farmers viable for years to come. High-speed wind farms is the way to do this. Thanks.
The photographs, when you're done looking at those, if you please, I'd like to take custody of those for the end of the meeting. But by all means, take your time to go through them. My name is Josh Nolan, 6140 Sunny Lake Court in Sylvania, and I do live right up against the Michigan border, a couple hundred feet away. A few things I'd like to address with you this evening. First off, Mr. Urban addressed the amount of acreage that the various developers have leased. We have provided to you tonight, for the first time, a map identifying every leased parcel in Lenawee County. It's page 2 of your packet. It has not been released to the general public yet. It will be on our website in the morning. That is based upon all the lease memorandum that were filed with the County Register of Deeds and the plat maps, and matching up the legal descriptions on the lease memorandum with the plat map. This is information that's been asked for right there. That's information that has been asked for years, and they refused to provide it. The IICC went into great expense to prepare it and provide it to you. I'd also like to address the setback that's suggested in the memorandum. 524 feet is not only unreasonable, it is simply irresponsible. There have been over 200 plus documented incidents of ice and debris thrown from turbines around the world, some as far as 3,900 feet. 524 feet is a joke. If you can throw debris 4 times that length, 8 times that length, how does that provide any protection whatsoever? I strongly encourage you to disregard that suggestion from the memorandum and to encourage the township to adopt a 1 mile setback. That way we can ensure that all families are safe from debris and ice throw from wind turbines. And all of that information can be found at caithnesswindfarmforum.com. And that information is available in the documentation that's been provided to you. I would also like to bring up the topic of shadow flicker. As many of you have seen, shadow flicker is quite a nuisance. It is very bothersome for a number of people and actually causes medical effects for a subset of people that may have epilepsy or other medical conditions. Technology has advanced such that we can actually eliminate this nuisance in its entirety. There is software available that can be installed on the turbines at minimal cost to the developers that would shut down the turbines when they're creating shadow flicker. And as the developers have said, it's only 30 hours a year. That's less than 1% of the time. They can certainly afford to have their turbines shut down that minimal amount of time in order to reduce the very significant impact upon residents. The next item I'd like to discuss is a property value guarantee. Great Lakes Wind Exelon has run an ad almost every week, a full-page color ad in the Blissfield Advance, declaring that there is no impact upon property values from industrial wind turbines. Once you stop laughing at that notion, I strongly encourage you to suggest that Riga Township adopt a property value guarantee. And if the developers truly believe the rhetoric that they're putting out there, if they truly believe that these will have no impact on property values, then they should have no qualms whatsoever about guaranteeing that. It's time that they put their money where their mouth is, not our money where their mouth is. I've also heard a number of people tonight discuss how long their families have owned farms, how much farmland they own. And I have a great respect for the farmers and the very difficult job that they have. But the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, the Equal Protection Clause, makes it clear that the amount of land that they own, or however long they've owned it, is completely irrelevant. Everyone is entitled to equal protection under the law. The fact that you've lived here for 35 years or your family's been here for 200 years does not entitle you to any greater rights than someone who moved in yesterday. And then I've also heard statements about the benefits of the wind farm and how great the wind farm up in the thumb is, and how there's been no long-term effects. I think the 20-plus plaintiffs to lawsuits in that area would disagree wholeheartedly. They would tell you that there has been very significant long-term effects. They've expended thousands of dollars in legal fees to try and protect their rights. And some of them have been forced to move from their homes. And I can't imagine a greater long-term effect than to be forced from your home, especially if you have a home that your family has been in for 150 plus years. Thank you very much. I would encourage you to disregard the setback and noise suggestions from the memorandum from Mr. Anderson, and to suggest to Riga Township that they adopt a 35 decibel sound limit measured at the property line, so that we are not unpaid nuisance easements to the developers. They should not be allowed to have their noise dissipate over someone else's property. If they were emitting smoke or some other noxious gas, they would not be allowed to use other people's property to allow that nuisance to dissipate. Noise is no different. It has very significant and real health effects. And they should not be permitted to use other people's property for free to abate that nuisance. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Bullock. I'm from Exelon Wind. My address is 11710 Gibner Road in Hartland, Michigan. First, I'd like to thank the Planning Commission for all the efforts that you're taking in consideration of the Riga draft ordinance. We are supportive of the Region 2 recommendations that have brought forth to make the ordinance more reasonable while being protective of the community. As proposed currently, the township ordinance is extremely restrictive and would likely preclude development of a wind project in the township. Contrary to the opponent's claims, areas within Michigan that have wind energy projects currently built have been largely supportive of the projects as evidenced by the continued development and approval of projects in those areas. In particular, here in county, where the only utility-grade wind farms, primary utility-grade wind farms have been located in Michigan to date, there was a referendum that demonstrated overall support for further development of wind farms in the area. We would like to continue development of wind farms in Riga Township and extend the benefits of the projects to landowners and the tax base in that area. I'd just like to take a few minutes and just discuss the primary issues in the Riga ordinance that currently will prohibit wind energy development in the township. Primarily those are the sound and the setback limits. The setback limits, as currently proposed, are four times the height of a wind turbine, or roughly 1,900 feet from a non-participating property. Just in terms of what that means, if I were to have a single non-participating vacant 5-acre parcel in Riga Township with those setbacks, it would eliminate more than 400 acres of consideration of neighboring property for potential turbine locations. If we were able to sign up 95% of the land in Riga Township, all with one developer, and try to build a project there, only a few turbines could be constructed in the township with the setback that's currently been proposed. If there was a single non-participating parcel that extended near the center of a section, that entire section would be eliminated from consideration for wind turbine siting. So accordingly, we recommend the 1.1 times the height of a wind turbine setback from non-participating properties. We've recommended that consistently since we first got involved in this project, and we've recommended it throughout other townships. It's consistent with many other ordinances in the state where there's wind turbine development continuing. In addition to that, we would, however, recommend that the ordinance include a setback from non-participating residences of 1,320 feet, which will be protective of where people live and where people congregate. The other prohibitive item is the sound at non-participating residences, as currently laid out in the draft ordinance as 40 dBA. Just as an example of how this impacts the project, a single turbine would need to be located approximately 2,000 feet from a non-participating residence with this setback, or equivalently for multiple turbines, a half-mile setback. As I demonstrated with a 1,900-foot setback, there's virtually no turbine sites located in the township. With a half-mile setback, there is no turbine sites in the township. So we would recommend, and we've recommended throughout the townships in the area, a 45 dBA sound limit throughout the project area. This is consistent with WHO, World Health Organization recommendations, so as to not interrupt people's sleep with their windows open. The other primary issue that...
Sir, your time is up.
Okay, I appreciate you considering the ordinance. Thank you.